Well, you mentioned World War II and your great grandparents, and I mentioned it with my dad. And if you guys get a chance, I just happen to be recommended to watch, or somebody recommended to me, Pacific. So if you ever kind of want to know a little bit about what your great grandparents went through, if they fought in World War II, I was not allowed to ask my dad about the war.
Yeah.
And I didn't understand that. I was like, Mom, but I have so many questions. She's like, don't you dare ask your father, Tim, about the war. Like, basically his generation of soldiers just buried that. They had a job to do.
Yeah.
That was it. And they had to come home. And it was either them or, right, the Japanese soldier they were fighting against that was going to go home.
Yeah.
Right? And your dad decided he was coming home.
Mm-hmm.
But like I watched and I was like, I had no idea. I had no idea.
Yeah.
And from some letters that he had written, I was like, whoa, like he was right in there. Like, how did I wouldn't be here if he didn't come home. Mm-hmm. How did he come home? So many didn't. It was unreal. But yeah, anyway, so I thought I'd give that to you.
No, yeah, thanks.
That was a good one. One thing that a lot of students in the school know you for is how buff you are.
Oh yeah.
This is something we've been discussing, like how do we bring this up? But dude, you're freaking huge. How do you do it?
Biggest guy in the school.
Easily.
Like,
I appreciate the kind words. I was going for buff.
Yeah.
So that's good.
I remember last year, I remember freshman year. Sorry, when I first met you, you weren't able to work out because you were like a little bit injured and stuff like that, and then like you just exploded like in like 2 years.
Well, what's interesting
or
is
a year and a half.
It's funny. When I first started, you and I chatted when we had class together. When I was your gym teacher when you were a ninth grader, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I talked about this program that I had stumbled upon and fell in love with, and essentially the reason for the size was that when I first started the program, it was really about him setting a foundation for me,
mm-hmm.
so that I would be doing things correctly and could make gains.
Yeah.
But also a lot of the stuff that a lot of the programs that I had been having him send me were essentially programs that were more set up for being shredded or cut up.
yeah.
Not size.
Mm-hmm.
So when I kind of got to the end of all these workouts, like he sent me this NXT every month for like 18 months, you had a new workout program. And then by the time I kept moving on to new ones, and I was like, he's like, hey, I noticed you have a lot of stuff to cut up or shred.
Mm-hmm.
How about if you try something for size? So I moved the dial, because he's got a dial that you set. This Athlete X is who I follow.
Mm-hmm.
And he has a dial that you can set up to get cut up and shredded, or you can set the dial, to the other end where it's about size, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I put it right in the middle. So, but I think I got a little bigger too when I was down in Texas. I spent the summer down in Texas, or about a month and a half.
Mm-hmm.
My son lives down there, one that's in the Air Force.
Oh, yeah.
And I was just working out at an LA Fitness down there, about a block from his apartment where he's living. And I ran out of my pre-workouts stuff that I used through Athlete X, and I went into this bodybuilder shop, and I said, I brought my workout container in, like my pre-workout.
Yeah.
And I said, hey, can you get me something close to this? This is my pre-workout stuff. And he goes, I think I can get you close. But I think, because my pre-workout stuff has a little creatine in it.
Yeah.
But I think the stuff he gave me had way more creatine.
Yeah.
Because when I was in the gym down there, I was like, I'm not getting tired.
Yeah.
Like,
You just go for forever.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, this dude he was huge, and I forgot his name, but I wish I remembered. But I mean, he would do shows and competitions and do well. Like, so.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't take creatine. Unfortunately, fortunately, I don't know. I don't
You know,
I don't know
like.
if you need to at your age.
Yeah, that's one of my friends was talking about it. Or he asked me about it because I'm sort of a go-to person for like working out, I guess, as well. And he was like asking me like, do I take it? And I was like, no. And he was like, well, then I'm not gonna take it. And he was like, why don't you take it though? And I was like, I don't think it's best to take while you're still going through puberty.
yeah,
100%.
Yeah,
I agree.
because like blood clogs, I believe, is an issue. Like, and
And you don't want to lift like that. Like if you have creatine in your system
Yeah.
and you're going to lift and you haven't gone through puberty yet and you don't get tired and you just keep pushing through, like you haven't developed yet. Like,
yeah, and I think it's
You're,
also gonna be
right?
fun. Like most people think I take it, and like I'm really excited because I'll probably take it after I'm probably 20 would be
Yeah.
a good age to start, and then I'm gonna be like, how huge do I get when I start taking creatine? Like I'm super excited to see, but
I think that's like a sign of respect though, that like, or like at least a sign of how big you are too. That
Yeah.
like if like everyone's being like, so Jay, you take creatine, like
yeah,
no,
he came up to me. He was like, "What brand of creatine do you take?" Just abruptly, and I was like, "I don't take creatine." He was like, well, "What pre-workout?" I was like, "I don't even take pre-workout
Yeah.
either." It's just like I don't take pre-workout specifically because one, I don't like caffeine.
yeah,
And two, like I think it's like I like the mental challenge of it, of like going through the gym with like nothing else but
Yeah.
yourself. Like that's really comforting to me that I could do like what most people need like pre-workout for.
you know, one of the people that I work out with after school, he takes creatine, but I also I don't drink coffee because I don't like caffeine, and like I'm a cross country runner too, and like I kind of like
Yeah, it's definitely a different build. You don't
I
want to
like-
take creatine.
yeah.
for that. Yeah.
No.
I like, first of all, I need to like kind of stay pretty lean. I need
Yep.
to be able to stay skinny and fast. But like, I also kind of, as you said, I like the like mental challenge that comes from like pushing through an obstacle, or like pushing up a hill, or like finishing that last set, where like I feel like creatine could kind of like suppress that, and like I like to feel like I've accomplished something, and I feel like it wouldn't work as well with like creatine, or even just like plain pre-workout. But
Yeah.
well, I was dead set against it when for a while, I was just like, no. Like, first of all, you'd seen the guys that would walk around with a milk jug
oh yeah,
of water just to stay hydrated. And you saw athletes on the field go down with cramps, and you knew they were using creatine because they were dehydrated.
Yeah.
So they'd cramp up and they couldn't play. Like, but the stuff that through Athlete Next, the stuff that he has his own supplements, and he's like, I did all the homework for you. He's like, you can go do the homework yourself if you want, and you can use any supplement you want. You don't have to use mine. He's like, I think mine's the best, but I'm going to say that. So he's like, you can buy anything you want. Like, just do the homework. He said, I just did all the homework for you. He said, look, the little bit of creatine in the pre-workout and the little bit of creatine in the protein that you take after the workout, and I'll take some amino acids, some BCAAs, before and after for muscle building, but it's really, he said, you don't get enough creatine in, we get creatine in meat, like steak and fish and chicken, and but we don't get enough. And that's why he gives you a little boost with your pre-workout and post-workout.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't say, like, you can take all the supplements in the world you want, but if your nutrition is garbage, it's not gonna
change.
gonna
anything.
help.
Yeah,
And the little boost that I get from it that's not where the size came from. It's the work. I mean, I put in the work. Like, I'm talking 5-6 days a week,
oh yeah,
barring injury. I've been doing it for 4 years now.
Oh, dude,
4
I'm
plus,
dude,
right?
I love time. Like, what am I gonna look like in 4 years?
Right?
oh yeah.
Oh, and you haven't even got your man muscles. Like, when you guys get your man muscles, like, forget it. Like,
That's what, like,
that's
I'm
when it
kind
gets
of
really fun.
like waiting on, because I think I'm still kind of developing.
He's
but
still
then,
growing. He's still growing. It's,
Like if you look at like my dad, like my dad's a like a bear. And like then you look at like me, and like I have the height, but like he's like freshman year of college, he was front squatting like 5 something, like back squatting like almost 600 or 700 pounds as like a freshman in college. And then you look at me compared to him, and I'm just like a little twig. So I'm just kind of like waiting on that to see what happens, like how it would affect with swimming, because there's so many builds for swimming.
Oh yeah.
Like you have like tall, lengthy dudes, and then you have guys that are just barrels, and they still all go speed, like the same speed. And it's just kind of interesting to me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Isn't that amazing? Yeah. I mean, it's like the whole reason why I signed up with Athlean-X is it's not. I don't want to. I used to train kind of like a bodybuilder in college, so I would go because I used to work out with this Russian, this guy that moved here from Russia, Pavel, and he taught me a lot of stuff, and he was in incredible shape, but he loved Arnold Schwarzenegger, and like that was his idol, and that's who he wanted to be, and he was going to go into competitions and stuff, and I mean he was shredded. He looked, I mean, it was ridiculous, but so the way he worked out, and I worked out with him, I kind of learned it from him. It was Monday, it was chest and tries, Tuesday back and bis, shoulders and legs on Wednesday, and repeat. And then you take Sunday off and you cook your chicken and rice and get your meals prepared for the week and put them in Tupperware and right. But that's all bodybuilding stuff. And like, you know, he was using, he told me that he would use some stuff for shredding. I don't know what, I want to say, because it was Winstrol. There's like Decadent and Winstrol. Decadent's like size. Winstrol's like shred. But like steroids, those are frightening just because of the health complications that come from it. Like, and why you just talked about, like, just, it's not you. It's something else that's making you. It's not you. Yeah. Like, yeah, you're in the weight room, but something's, I don't know. Call it cheating. Yeah. Right? I mean, you can tell when guys, when they have worms in their forearms or in their biceps, you know something's not right.
It's right? It's like starting like a race, but you're like 2 miles ahead of like everyone else. It's just not the same. It's like, yeah, you still ran the race, but like you didn't really run the whole race.
And sorry, we'll get back to my point, and that was the reason I fell in love with Athlean-X is it was trained like an athlete, not like a bodybuilder, right? Yeah. So I still play baseball, and I want to run, I want to sprint, I want to jump, I want to be quick, I want to be powerful. I don't want to be bulky and too muscular where I can't swing a bat and throw a ball, and which you get that way when it's not athletic. I mean, those guys, I have all the respect in the world for them because they put in time. Yeah. And you do you. Yeah. If that's what you're passionate about, great. I'm more about the athletic look. Yeah. You know, that's what I'm pursuing. But
and you see like all those guys who are like absolutely huge, but they can like barely move, and they like no mobility that they can like can't raise their arms straight above their head, and they like can't sprint or like throw something, and like they have the look down. And I bet they could bench more than like all 5 of us combined. Yeah. But like saving that, like you're kind of stuck doing just that, and there's not like much else room for you to grow or like participate in stuff. And I think that's I've never been someone who's like wanted to get big. I've always liked the more athletic than bulky kind of a look, but I think it's still very impressive. It's like still they put in work, the ones who, you know, do it naturally. I mean, the ones who are on something also put in some work.
Yeah,
like
you can't just take the steroid and just big muscles. And just have it's not SpongeBob. No, where SpongeBob puts on the fake arms.
Yeah, yeah.
It just gets huge.
It just gets massive.
You can't lift the drink off the counter.
Mm-hmm. But like, I still have like a great deal of respect, but like it's just not something that I'd ever personally want to do, and it's a whole different kind of, you know, muscular and like athletic.
You know, and honestly, Jaden, if you want to look a little more like me. Just my secret is I buy smaller shirts. That's,
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I wore this shirt today. It's one of those shirts that makes my muscles look good. I've had it since like I think middle school.
yeah.
If I raise my hands too high, my belly shows. So yeah, but yeah, one of the things that's helpful for me is I just work out at home. I live in a really nice apartment, so I have a really nice gym.
nice.
Yeah.
And I pretty much have it to myself. Occasionally, like an old lady will come in, do 30 minutes of like cardio, and then leave.
Right.
But yeah, the only thing it doesn't have that annoys me that they used to have, because beginning of my freshman year, when I first started going in, they had like a leg extension machine, and they did a bunch of renovations to the apartment. It looks really nice now, and they updated the gym, brought out a bunch of new stuff in, great. And then they took out the leg extension machine. I don't know why, but yeah, it was really annoying. But yeah,
You know what's
most
funny
people.
is my guy that I follow, Jeff Cavalier and Athlete Next, he would love it that they took it out. Yeah,
You know, like
he
a
swears
extension?
leg extensions and leg curls are the worst thing you can do for your knee.
I
And I'm
hate
like,
leg curls.
I used to do them. I mean, I don't anymore just because one of the things he says is if you're gonna work your legs, your feet need to be on the ground, and
Yeah.
that will protect the knee. So he's got a lot of other things in there. He's like, there's other ways you can work your hamstrings and your glutes. Like if you think about a sprinter or like a runner, they don't have these massive like
Yeah.
biceps femoris in their legs, right? Like the back of their aren't huge,
Yeah,
right?
they're defined.
Yeah, their hamstrings aren't huge,
Oh yeah.
right? They're not like bulking it. So
No.
you don't need to curl them like that, like you're doing curls
Yeah.
for your arms, right? Like,
But they have crazy
but no,
definition.
interesting that you say that. I loved them.
Yeah,
I mean, I think the reason why I loved them is they were easy
Yeah.
because you could lay down when you did them, or sit
Yeah.
down, right?
Oh yeah.
Versus be on your feet, but.
tends to be the easier stuff. Probably doesn't give you the best results. So
Well, I mean, all the bodybuilders do them. They swear by.
Yeah.
I mean, they do leg extensions, leg curls, but they're going for that
For that kind of a-
hypertrophy, right? That size, that
Yeah.
right, the bulk, yeah. But that's awesome that you got a apartment complex that's got a gym in it. And, man, I always say I wish I had a gym in my house, but part of me has to get out, and it's funny.
Yeah.
I drive to a gym.
Yeah.
Why don't I ride a bike or run to the gym? Like,
Yeah.
but I think I need that to get away from home. Like, just get out, get in the gym, work out, come back. Like, if it was in my home, I think it'd just be a place to put clothes and like hang clothes. and
yeah,
You know,
put stuff.
I'm the same way. I also like you talked about how you work out alone sometimes, like a lot, Jaden. But like for me, it helps a lot if it's like there's like everyone around. There's like some music playing, and it's like you can see everyone else putting in work, and that kind of like motivates me to like do it with them, and like working out with someone and like having someone there to like push you and like spot you too, and like all the things that helps me kind of like push a lot more. And I think that if I had a gym at my house, like my parents got a like treadmill, and I run at the treadmills at Lifetime where I work out, but like I barely ever use the one at home because it just doesn't feel like I have no idea why. It's just not motivating to me.
I don't know. I like working. I don't think I'd ever work out with someone. Like I might like go to the gym with someone like once. I've never done that before. But like if one of my friends who also works out were to like ask me like, oh, you want to go to the gym this weekend? I'll be like, sure. Like, but like I can't consistently work out with someone because like I don't like working with people a lot of the time. Like I like working with you guys. You guys are different. Don't worry. But like in my personal experience, like I just prefer working alone nowadays. It's just I'm better alone than I feel insecure almost when I have to rely on people. Like I almost have a flank exposed that like I can't control. So whenever it comes to like even group assignments, like I will always work alone over working with someone else, unless it's like something I had no knowledge on. That's why like for science, most of the time I tend to work with people, but when it comes to other stuff, I tend to work alone. And I think that translates to working out as well, where they may push me for a day, but like I have to I have to take care of you. Like it's a back and forth thing. When I also feel like if I work out and I'm alone, that I can handle myself better. But
I was gonna ask. So it seems like you've always been active your whole life. Like you've always like wanted to be just like you've always just been up and going. Was there someone that inspired you? Like maybe like since you said like you kind of grew up in the golden era of like Arnold, Lee Priest, Tommy Platz, like all of those huge like Olympians. Like did those guys kind of drive you to get like to this point where you're at?
Oh, I don't know about that. I think I finally, because I used to do my own bro stuff, right? And here's the thing, I wouldn't say that I was really well read on the stuff. That's why I would work out with Pavel, like, because he knew everything.
Yeah.
He did the reading. He did, right? He learned the exercise that way, and I just followed along. Like, but I don't know. I just remember being a freshman in high school and being terrified of going into the weight room because I was small. And when I went in there, the bigger guys, I was afraid they were going to make fun of me because I was just lifting the bar on bench.
yeah.
And they didn't. They like gave me a high five, and they were like, hit me on the shoulder, and they'd be like, "Good to see you in here, kid."
Yeah, it's
Right?
never the
The
people
big
who
dudes
are
are
in
the
there that,
nicest guys at the
because
gym.
they were at
At
your
one
point.
point, where you
100%.
started.
and like I started working out for like the first time since like the start of 9th grade after cross country ended this year, and like I could barely, first of all, because of tennis, my like right arm was so much stronger than my left, and it's like I could like curl like 10 more pounds with my like right arm than my left, and like 10 more pounds than like basically nothing. And I like, if you just put in some time, like over the past month, all of my like weights in my like exercises have gone up like 10 pounds, and like I know that they jump a lot at the start, they like jump up, but like I don't think someone should be scared to go to the gym because they're afraid that they're like appear weak, because everyone had to start somewhere, and there's like always gonna be someone at the gym bigger than you, and there's always gonna be someone who's trying to work up to where you are. So I think that's a very important thing to like think about.
Well, that's funny that you say that, because the kind words that you shared here, you were like, you're buff and this and that, but when I go to a gym, or if I go to LA, there's always dudes that are way stronger or like way bigger, right?
I was introduced to like the very healthy side of like the gym space, like very like I watched people who were like, dude, just by showing up you're in the 1%.
Yeah.
Just by showing up you're in the 1%. And he was like, don't look at freaking The Rock or
right.
Arnold Schwarzenegger. Like you could get there if you wanted. It might be unrealistic, but like if you can bench 120 pounds for reps, you're up there compared to everyone else. And then what happens is you'll circle yourself with people like you, so then you're comparing yourself to other people who are doing the exact same thing. Like you're in your own little world, and you step out of reality for a second. Nobody's doing what you're doing.
And then there's that like, okay.
I got to roll to class here, fellas.
Don't worry.
Final
Thank
question.
you.
Final question.
Final question. Final.
Dogs or cats?
Oh wow, I had both growing up.
Oh.
If I had to choose, I would say dogs. But our cat, like, that guy was something. I just laughed. He'd climb up the Christmas tree and knock it over it. Piss my mom off.
Yeah.
She'd chase around the house after him with a broom. I love wrestling with him, playing with him. That cat he was different. He had a personality, and I don't know. A lot of times cats are funny though. They'll bump into something and they'll turn around and look at you like, "What'd you put that there for?
Yeah.
Or what'd you do that for?" Like, and they're the ones that did it. Like, dogs will just love you up.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
unconditionally.
Yeah. I've had them both, but I'd say if I had to choose,
Okay.
definitely dog.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you
bet.
for
This is
joining
great,
us.
boys. Thanks so much for the pizza.
Yeah.
Shout out to Parkway Pizza and
Oh yeah.
Jaden for lunch.
Yeah. Shout out to Parkway Pizza and shout out to again Forrest who will be editing all this in the background.
Oh, near and far us.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
See you.